Yeah, we were going through some struggles, and she told me she was pregnant. There were so many things that were going on at that time.
We were at that restaurant, and I said, I'm pregnant.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
I think the stress kind of really got to us, and we were going to separate, and you wanted not to get married, and you talked about having an abortion. You didn't want to remain pregnant while we were struggling and stuff, and obviously I didn't want that, but guys don't seem to have a lot of choice, in those areas. I mean, and in some ways we, in that area, when it comes to abortion, I guess we don't have a lot of choice, but we also don't always step up to the plate, when the female chooses to have the baby either. Sometimes we want to do our own thing. Thankfully, I had, as a young man, I ended up spending some time in a Christian boys' home, and I had developed a relationship with a couple of what we called house parents, and they went on to pastor a church, and I ended up going to live with them for a while. So I had a relationship with them. So I did the only thing I knew to do is I called them, and just so happens the night that I called them, they were having a prayer meeting at their house.
Wow.
So I kind of unloaded all my all that was going on in our relationship, and that Melinda was thinking about having an abortion, and I just gave it to them all, and they obviously they prayed, and I never had really talked to them about it since then, but obviously I believe in my heart that that was one of the key things that turned things around, because as you can see, 25 years later, we wouldn't know what to do without Dale. I mean, he's a great kid. We got a wonderful granddaughter and a wonderful daughter-in-law. So I mean, it's just amazing. We could have I guess we'd have never known what we would have, but we made it through it. I mean, our relationship hasn't always been tiptoeing through the tulips, but with I believe with God has kept us together, and we've had some ups and downs, but we've been too stubborn to quit. I guess that's what we can say. So I do believe that our the reason we're sitting here today with 13 grandkids and wonderful kids and just the way things worked out is a God thing. Because we certainly couldn't, we proved we couldn't do it on our own, obviously I didn't want her to have an abortion, but it's really, and it's not something you can talk to everybody about either, so I think that's why I just turned to, that's why I called that a Christian couple I knew, and kind of gave it all to them, and I'm not really sure if I shared it with anybody else after that, it's just a long time ago, and I didn't even remember it was at the restaurant when you told me, but now that you say it, I remember. So
I remember exactly where I was.
yeah, I'm sure, yeah, but I do remember the birth. That was phenomenal. I think what, 3 hours labor with Dale? 3 hours? I remember when the doctor said it's a boy, no prouder feeling. Not that I didn't have a proud feeling with my daughters either. I mean, that's you can't really separate the two, but there's just something about a guy having a son. That's really. So I'm very thankful that you gave me a son.
Me too.
Yep. Yeah, he's a good boy. I should say man now, though, in case he ever watches this.
At that time, We didn't want to know what we were having, so that's why we didn't know. We went in and Dale went to eat and they had to call him back because
Oh yeah,
he was coming
yep.
so quick.
I remember when he came out, the doctor gave her, I think they put some Valium in her IV, and I was kind of upset because they didn't give me any. But no, no. But so he comes out and she goes, "It's a boy, it's a boy, it's a boy, baby." And the doctor and nurse, we all laughed at that. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a blessing, and it's just amazing how one poor decision we'd have missed all that. But I do recognize that it's hard to see. Sometimes it's hard to see God's blessings when you're in the woods or you're in the valley, because most people, being well-meaning, they often don't give you the right advice. They give you the easy way out.
Yeah.
I remember through all those circumstances, because of not having good circumstances, being encouraged to have abortions. Just people believed what I believed, that just terminated and you don't have to deal with it, go on with your life, And I don't think I had one person tell me different. Yeah.
I guess I would say, with your pleasure comes responsibility. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way. I mean, if you buy a shirt that's the wrong color, you could take it back. But it's hard. It's a tough one. I mean, because that's such a touchy issue. But I think sometimes if the gal knows that you're going to support, you're going to be there for that baby, then I think they might make a different choice. Often it's easy for us guys. All we have to do, we can just walk away, and maybe or maybe not pay child support. Or the female, if she chooses to have the baby, she's got that responsibility. So I think if guys would man up and take on, we all, sometimes we want the benefits, but we don't want the obligations that come with what can happen with those benefits. So I think if guys would just accept the responsibility and support their significant other, I think the different choices could be made. Regardless what your circumstances are, I think if you'd be surprised when I guess it's each person's decision what is the right thing. But to me, the right thing is the thing that will give you that won't give you regret. Like we have no regret having Dale. No regret whatsoever. I mean, I guarantee you I would have regret if we didn't have him. But if you do the right thing, regardless of what people are telling you, those same people will come alongside you and support you. And they will also benefit from that down the road.